The rock was bigger than me, and I was climbing it anyway. My front paws made it up, but my back paws had other plans. I scrambled and scratched, and somehow I was moving backward instead. The tall human made a sound that was definitely laughing at me. Excuse me, this rock is extremely large and my legs are extremely small. I tried again, with more speed and more confidence and more scrambling. My nose hit the top of the rock before the rest of me did. Something smelled up here that I had absolutely never smelled before, ever. Dirt and wet, and something alive, and something running, and something there. My whole body went stiff, and my ears went straight up immediately. The trees ahead were moving, but the wind was not doing the moving. Whatever was in those trees knew I was here and did not care. The small human grabbed my harness and I pulled with everything I had. My paws left the rock and hit the actual trail dirt for the first time. And somewhere above us in the branches, something small and fast was watching. Okay, so the trail was not like the floor at home at all. The floor at home does not move under your paws when you step. This trail moved, shifted, crunched, made sounds, was alive probably. I sniffed every single inch of it because every inch was completely different. The tall human kept walking forward like the ground was not insane to them. How are you not stopping? There is so much information right here. A root jumped out of the ground directly in front of my left paw. I stopped. I barked at it. It did not move. I barked again, louder. The root was not scared of me, and that was deeply concerning information. I went around it because I am strategic and also a little bit nervous. The trees got closer together and the sky got smaller above my head. All the smells were stacking on top of each other in my nose now. Squirrel and bird and something with 4 legs and something with no legs. My paws found something cold and wet before my brain had any warning. Cold, so cold, extremely and completely and totally cold right now. I looked down, and my 2 front paws were inside actual moving water. The water was going somewhere fast, and it did not ask my permission. I lifted one paw out, and the cold followed it up my leg somehow. The small human laughed and said something and pointed at the water again. You want me to go in there? All the way in there? On purpose? I put one paw back in very slowly, like maybe Cold would not notice. Cold noticed immediately and shot straight up through my whole entire body fast. I leaped out of that water like it had personally insulted my entire family. I shook myself so hard, my ears slapped my own face 3 separate times. The water kept moving like nothing had happened and I had not won anything. The trail went up after the water, and up was harder than flat was. My back legs were doing most of the work now, and they knew it. I found a smell on a rock that stopped my whole body completely still. Something had been here, recently. Something bigger than me, bigger than the humans. I covered it with my own smell immediately, because that is simply correct protocol. The tall human pulled the leash gently, and I followed but kept looking back. The trees opened up a little, and I saw a gray shape move fast. My brain did not process the shape before my legs were already running toward it. Squirrel, squirrel. There is a squirrel, and it is right there. Go. The leash snapped tight, and my front half stopped, but my back half did not. I was briefly shaped like a banana, and then I was shaped like embarrassed. The squirrel sat on a branch above me and made a sound like mocking. That sound, that exact sound. I will remember that sound forever and always. I barked up at it with my most serious and professional barking voice. The squirrel flicked its tail once and then turned its back to me completely. Turned its back to me on my mountain during my hike. Unbelievable. I barked 7 more times with increasing volume and decreasing dignity rapidly. The small human picked me up and I was still barking into the air. Being carried did not stop the barking. It just moved the barking higher up. The squirrel was gone by the time my paws touched the trail again. I decided the squirrel situation was not over. It was simply paused for now. The trail got steeper and my nose went lower and my breathing got louder. My paws were finding the rhythm of rocks and roots and dirt and repeat. Step and grip and push and step and grip and push and keep going. The humans were talking, but their words were very far away from my focus. There was a smell at exactly nose level coming from behind a large boulder. I stopped so fast, the small human walked directly into the back of my head. Behind that boulder was the greatest collection of smells I had ever encountered personally. Something had eaten here. Something had slept here. Something had lived here for a while. I pressed my entire face into the base of the boulder and just breathed deeply. The tall human said my name twice, and I heard it both times completely. I stayed at the boulder anyway because some things are more important than names. Eventually, the leash made a gentle suggestion, and I made a reluctant decision to move. Above the boulder, the trees thinned out, and something bright was happening ahead now. My paws hit a flat rock surface and the view opened up all at once. I stopped walking because my brain needed a full moment to process this information. There was no more mountain above me. I was at the top of it. The wind hit my face and my ears went sideways and my fur went everywhere. I had never felt wind like this wind. This wind had opinions about me. Down below through the trees, I could see the tiny box the humans drove here. That box was very small. I was very high. These two facts were enormous. The small human sat down on the flat rock and opened a bag with food. Food! Right. I had completely forgotten about food, and now I remembered everything. I sat next to the small human and leaned my whole body weight sideways. The wind kept pushing my ears back, and I let it because it felt good. I was breathing hard, but in a different way than the scared kind of hard. This was the kind of hard that felt like I had done something real today. A bird landed on a rock 3 feet away and looked at me sideways. I looked back at it. It looked at me. We had an understanding immediately. This mountain belonged to both of us, and neither of us would argue about it. The bird left first, which meant I won that interaction completely and totally. I stood up and walked to the very edge of the flat rock and looked. The trail went down from here, down through all those trees, all the way down. I had come up all of that. Every root, every rock, every cold water moment. My tail started wagging before I had made any conscious decision about wagging. The tall human took something out of their pocket and pointed it at my face. I sat very still because that is what you do when the rectangle comes out. And then I heard it again from somewhere below us in the trees below. That sound, that specific chittering, mocking sound from earlier on the trail below us. The squirrel situation was apparently not paused. The squirrel had followed me up here. I stood up from my sitting position so fast, the tall human stepped backward, surprised. My nose was pointed down the slope and every part of me was fully activated. The chittering came again from the left and then immediately from the right somehow. Either there were two squirrels or this one squirrel was extremely fast and smug. Both options were completely unacceptable and required my immediate and personal attention now. I took 3 steps toward the tree line and the leash had different opinions again. I looked back at the small human with my most reasonable and logical expression. Please, I am so close. This is literally my whole entire purpose up here. The small human said something soft and scratched behind my left ear very specifically. My left ear betrayed me completely and leaned into the scratch against my will. The squirrel made the sound again, and my ear snapped back to attention immediately. Focus. I had to focus. The ear scratch was a distraction, and I knew it. The chittering stopped and the trees went quiet in a way that felt like waiting. I waited too. My whole body was one single wire pulled completely tight and still. And then a gray shape exploded out of the tree line directly across the clearing. My brain did not send a message to my legs. My legs simply already knew. I was running before the thought of running had finished forming in my head. The squirrel hit the ground and zagged left, and I zagged left without thinking. It zagged right, and I zagged right, and my paws had never moved this fast. The leash went fully taut, and the harness caught me mid-stride, completely airborne, briefly. I landed on all four paws and spun around, and the squirrel was already gone. Gone. Completely and totally gone, like it had never existed on this mountain at all. I sniffed the exact spot where it had been running, and it was definitely real. It had been here, right here. And now, it was absolutely nowhere near here. I looked up at every tree branch within my entire field of vision systematically. Nothing. Just wind and branches and the sound of the humans trying not to laugh. I turned to face the humans with my full dignity completely assembled and intact. That was a tactical repositioning, and I made that choice myself on purpose, deliberately. The tall human gave me water from a small bottle, and I drank all of it. Chasing squirrels at altitude is extremely demanding work, and hydration is simply responsible behavior. The small human packed the bag and stood up and pointed back down the trail. Down. We were going down now. I looked at the trail going down below us. Going up the trail had felt like pushing through something hard, but possible and good. The trail going down looked like a completely different trail made of different physics entirely. My front paws stepped to the edge of the first downhill section and stopped themselves. My back paws walked forward and bumped into my front paws, which had not moved. The tall human stepped down easily, like gravity was not a deeply personal threat. I watched their feet. Their feet were very confident about this whole downhill situation. I put one front paw down one step, and the ground came up faster than expected. This was going to require a completely new strategy and also possibly a miracle today. The small human stepped down beside me and kept the leash loose and patient. I took another step down, and my whole center of gravity filed a formal complaint. My nose was pointing at the ground now, and that was not where noses belong. I sat down on the trail and considered my options carefully and with great seriousness. Option 1, stay on this mountain forever and become a permanent resident up here. Option 2, figure out how these four paws work going downhill right now today. The tall human made an encouraging sound and patted the trail just below my paws. I took 3 quick steps down and then sat again because 3 steps was enough. Then 3 more steps and a sit. Then 4 steps and a very dramatic pause. The humans were patient in a way that made me feel like they believed in me. 3 steps and sit. 4 steps and sit. 5 steps and only a small sit. My back legs figured it out before my front legs did, which felt backwards somehow. The riacho was coming. I could hear it before I could see it getting closer. The cold water sound was getting louder, and my paws remembered everything about cold water. I stopped at the edge of the stream and looked at it with full suspicion. It was the same water, still moving, still cold, still completely unbothered by me. The tall human stepped across it in one easy step like it was nothing at all. The small human waited on my side and looked at me with complete confidence somehow. I looked at the water. I looked at the other bank. I calculated the distance. I jumped with everything my back legs had ever learned about jumping in 12 weeks. I cleared the water by approximately 1 full body length and landed in the dirt. I spun around immediately to confirm that I had in fact just done that thing. The water was behind me. I was on the other side. I had crossed it. My tail was wagging so hard, my whole back half was participating in the wagging. The small human cheered, and that sound went straight into my chest like warm food. The rest of the trail down felt different after the water crossing changed everything. My paws knew rocks now. My paws knew roots. My paws knew how to grip. The trees opened up and I could smell the parking lot before I could see it. Rubber and metal and exhaust and the specific smell of where this whole day started. My paws hit the flat pavement and my whole body exhaled something it had been holding. The tall human opened the car and I jumped in without being asked at all. I turned 3 circles on the back seat and then dropped like something had cut strings. Every single muscle I owned had an opinion, and all the opinions were the same. Done, finished, completed, fully and completely and absolutely done for today and possibly tomorrow. The small human climbed in beside me and I put my head on their leg. The mountain was outside the window getting smaller as the car moved away from it. I watched it through the glass with my chin on the warm leg beside me. I had climbed that. Every root and rock and cold water and impossible squirrel of it. The squirrel had won today, but the squirrel had to stay on the mountain forever. I gotta go home, and tomorrow my paws would remember everything the mountain taught them.